Diatoms, these beautiful glass-encased microalgae, are already shaping the future here on Earth in areas including drug delivery, micromachines, and life support. But there's one thing we still don't know, whether any of it works in space. In 2006, experiments were prepared to find out. They were proposed to NASA. The hardware was built and delivered, but they never flew. Let's take a look at the science and engineering breakthroughs diatoms have made possible here on Earth, and how these lost experiments might have proven critical as we extend humanity into the stars. Every diatom you've ever seen is encased in glass. Not metaphorical glass, actual silica, the same material as the glass in your window. Each cell grows its own shell from scratch, creating a structure of almost incomprehensible precision. This is Cosinodiscus. That circular pattern is a three-dimensional lattice of precisely arranged pores, ridges, and channels. A nanoarchitecture so intricate that even today, with our most advanced manufacturing technology, we can't replicate it at this scale. The cell that built this is a single-celled alga. No brain, no hands, no tools. It pulls silicon from the water and assembles this, and it follows the same genetic blueprint every time it divides. Now meet Bacillaria. At low magnification, a culture of these diatoms looks like pure chaos. Needles extending, tumbling, crossing, and smashing into each other in every direction. But zoom in on a single colony and the chaos disappears. Each cell is locked to its neighbors along a shared groove running the length of the cell, the raphe, and together they slide back and forth, expanding into a ribbon, then contracting into a stack, in near-perfect unison. The engine driving this is an actin-myosin motor, the same kind of molecular machinery that allows you to blink your eyes or flex your muscles. But there's no signal we can detect passing between cells. Somehow, dozens of individual cells reverse direction at roughly the same moment every time. How they do this is still not fully understood. Two qualities: a structure of extraordinary precision grown by a single cell from nothing but water and dissolved silicon, and a coordinated motion produced by a colony with no apparent means of communication. Scientists saw these two qualities and had a vision of the future. But here's the problem. Everything diatoms do evolved on Earth, under gravity. Gravity shapes fluid dynamics. It determines how particles settle, how molecules diffuse, how cells orient themselves. Remove it, and there's no guarantee any of it works the same way. In the early 2000s, researchers decided to find out. The first question they asked was about the shell. They started to imagine what a diatom's glass-building ability could become. In a 2003 paper, they described it as a Star Trek replicator, a biological system that assembles complex structures on demand, without a factory. Their vision was that instead of launching manufactured components into space, which is heavy and expensive, you launch a vial of dormant diatom cells, feed them dissolved silicon, and they grow billions of precision glass nanostructures on demand, wherever you need them. Drug delivery systems, optical components, sensor arrays, all of that built in orbit. But nobody knew whether a diatom could actually build its shell in microgravity. The self-assembly process depends on the cell controlling exactly where and how silica deposits as the shell grows. On Earth, gravity is always there as a reference. In orbit, that reference disappears. The shell might grow perfectly, or it might not. The second question they asked was about the motion of Bacillaria. Mathematically, the cells are best understood as coupled oscillators, with each one influencing its neighbors through physical contact. But gravity may also play an unstudied role, providing a spatial reference that keeps the whole colony oriented and coordinated. Remove gravity, and one of two things might happen. The synchrony might continue exactly as on Earth, which would tell us the coordination is purely mechanical. Or it might break down, cells sliding out of phase, the accordion collapsing into noise, which would tell us gravity plays a necessary role. The experiments were designed, the hardware was built. In June of 2006, that hardware was delivered to NASA. It was qualified for spaceflight. It was ready. But then the module it was designed to fly inside was canceled. NASA was billions of dollars over budget on ISS construction. Something had to go. That module was cut from the manifest. It now sits on permanent outdoor display at a space center in Japan. The diatoms, they stayed on Earth, and the questions remained unanswered. But the science didn't stop. In the years since, researchers and engineers have pushed diatom biology into territory well beyond what the 2006 team had proposed. The results have been striking. The most direct translation of the nanofactory idea has been in medicine. Diatom frustules, those precise glass shells, are porous at the nanoscale in ways that pharmaceutical engineers dream about. The pores are the right size to load with drug molecules. The silica is biocompatible, and the shell itself can be chemically modified to target specific cells, releasing its payload only when it reaches them. Researchers have now demonstrated diatom-based drug delivery platforms in preclinical work, loading frustules with cancer therapeutics, antibiotics, and even vaccines. One team has developed an oral diatom vaccine platform for fish, already funded through 2 rounds of federal grants. The diatom shell is the delivery vehicle. Biology is the architect. The engineering interest in Bacillaria has taken a different form. That synchronized sliding turns out to be exactly the behavior robotics engineers want to understand and replicate. Not for biological reasons, for mechanical ones. A 2022 paper used Bacillaria as the biological template for engineering artificial magnetic microswarms, tiny machines that move through fluid in coordinated groups, change formation on demand, and navigate intricate pathways to a target. The diatom's accordion motion was the model. By 2025, magnetic microswarm drug delivery had been demonstrated in large animal models. This diatom colony that has puzzled biologists for 2 centuries is now a blueprint for nanoscale motion. Diatoms already produce more than 20% of all the oxygen on Earth. That fact has not been lost on engineers thinking about long-duration spaceflight. And then there is the shell itself, or rather what you can make if you start with the shell as a template. A diatom grows its frustule in silica, but researchers discovered that you can replace that silica with other materials while keeping the architecture intact. Bake a frustule in the presence of magnesium vapor, and the silica converts to silicon, semiconductor-grade, with diatom geometry. The resulting structures have been tested in photovoltaic cells and sensors. And teams have grown living cells that incorporate other custom materials directly into the glass as it forms, producing functional biosensors at the nanoscale. The replicator framing from 2003 was, if anything, understated. The diatom doesn't just build glass. With the right chemistry, it may be able to build anything. All of this progress has happened here, on Earth, under gravity. The questions that 2 experiments were designed to answer in 2006 have still never been answered. Can diatoms build their shells in microgravity? Does the coordination survive? Nobody knows. The experiments never flew. Scientists sometimes have visions that could change the course of humanity. The tools exist, the biology is understood. The hardware, in this case, was built, delivered, and qualified. What stood in the way was a budget line. That's not unique to this story. It's how science often works. Ideas outpacing the institutions meant to support them. proposals waiting years or decades for the political and financial conditions to align. The experiments proposed in 2006 are still valid. The questions are still open and will eventually be answered. Just maybe not anytime soon. Thanks for joining us on today's look inside the Microcosmos. We hope you'll consider subscribing to our channel so you won't miss our next adventure.